right, Miles, let's talk about the Chicago Bears, the team you and I talk about a lot. They're off to a kind of a surprising start. They're 2-1. There's some question marks about, what they're doing on offense and things like that. But hey, 2-1, tied for first place in that division. No complaints there right now in Chicago. Things are looking pretty good, hoping the trend continues the rest of the year. And Miles, I know you've got a story about a way Chicago is playing in certain parts of the game that maybe there's secret sauce. But before I hand it off to you, Bears fans, we want to hear in the comment section below. Who do you think has been the bright spot through 3 weeks of the regular season? Has it been somebody on defense, maybe a rookie? Is it one of these running backs that's had a great start to the season? Maybe someone on special teams. Let us know in the comment section below who you think has really jumped out through the first 3 games of the season. But Miles, what do you have out of Chicago?
Yeah, Nick. So my bright spot for Chicago is the defense. And okay, you might think, well, that's kind of weird. They let up 20 points to the Texans. They barely beat this team, barely beat that team. Well, let me be more specific. Second half defense for the Bears, finishing out games has been their strong suit. And I'm going to run this stat by you. This is kind of the jumping off port for our greater discussion here. The Bears have allowed 0 second half touchdowns so far through 3 games. They've only allowed 4 field goals in the last 3 games. So 0 second half touchdowns. And as you referred to it, the secret sauce for this team may be you're allowing your offense to finish out the game and you're not allowing the other teams to get points to come back. So your offense has the ability to come out here. You're obviously, if the other teams aren't scoring, you're getting them off the field, getting your offense back on the field a little bit quicker, allowing them to go fix any mistakes that you might have made in the first half of the game, and you're not allowing the other team to score. And if I'm a defense, I would much rather be able to tell you, because I have personally experienced this, that you didn't allow teams to score in the second half rather than the first half. I think if you didn't allow them to score in the first half and they scored in the second half, that's a whole lot worse. So I'm kind of, this Bears defense has been impressive in their ability to close out games, Nick. What do you think about that?
Credit to coaching, right? Difference between having Matt Nagy, obviously he was offensive side of the ball, but they struggled on offensively all the time, in game, second half adjustments, whatever you want to call it. They were terrible at it with Nagy on offense. Now you got Eberflus in there as the head coach running the defense as well, his involvement on that side of the ball. You can definitely tell there's a different mindset for this team throughout the games. They learn, they're adaptive. I get a lot of the fact it's a very young defense as well. You got guys like Jaquan Brisker making plays on the back end. They're athletic, they're adaptable, they learn, they figure things out. And that just makes me really excited looking at the Bears defensively. And I know there have been issues offensively, but I think there's injuries, it's new cast of characters, new offensive coordinator for Fields. It will take time. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks that have gone through some new things, right? You've got Tom Brady's had issues. You've got Matt Jones has had issues. You've got Jameis Winston has had issues. Like, there's been a lot of quarterbacks that have had issues the early part of the season with new coaching staff and new weapons around him. So it'll take time on offense. But I love the clutch factor on defense. You brought this up. Making plays when you have to make plays. That's what good teams do. That's how teams go from rebuilding to good. And that's what you look at Roquan Smith intercepting a deflected pass at the end of the Texans game to essentially win the game, got him in field goal range. The clutch stops against the 49ers to finish off their week 1 win. I love what they're doing, making plays when they have to make plays, because that's a true sign of a talented group, talent side of the ball. If you can make plays when you absolutely have to, you've got a good group there, and the Bears have a really good, really young, exciting defense.
Yeah, Nick. And also another, Roquan's been great. Young Jaquan Brisker's flying around back there. He looks like a star in the making for the Bears. But you go back and you look through, all right, they had a really interesting, very wet first week game against the 49ers. They were able to win that game. Obviously, bad game versus the Packers, but the Packers, a tough team, divisional opponent. Aaron Rodgers, he seems to have the Bears number. But, Justin Fields in that game, he says, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to lose. I want to change everything. We go into week 3 versus the Texans. You eke out a win here. Improvement. Obviously, you score 23 points. Improvement. That's the most points they've scored all season. So Fields, he took it to heart, and still he said, I did not play well, and he still wants to improve. Even after a win, he's looking for improvement every week. So you got to win. You go up against the Giants, who, they're as to this point, we're filming, it's Monday night, so we don't know if they've won yet or not, but they've been undefeated up to this point. So that's gonna be, they could be tough, they could be frauds, who knows. You got the Vikings, that's a winnable game, I think. You got the Commanders, which is another very winnable game. Patriots, who knows if Mac Jones will be back yet or not. So that's another opportunity. And then you roll into Dallas, and if Dak's back by then, that could be a tough game. So that you have ability to cruise and build some confidence early on in this season. You've got 3 of your next 4 games, I would say, are very winnable games, and there's potential to win all 4 of them. So that could be promising for the Bears to get some momentum going on the offensive side of the ball. Maybe the defense plays a complete game. They start closing out the first half of games the way that they've been doing in the second half of the games. So there's a lot of good things going on for the Bears, and I could see this becoming a very complete team by the time, week 7, 8 rolls around.
Yeah, and I love your point about Fields, after his week 3 performance saying he wants to get better. Well, he literally can't get worse. He was terrible against the Texans. They won the game really on the strength of their running game. But I do love the mentality of this team. And look, the fact that I honestly believe Fields will get better with Getsy as the OC, as some of these weapons get healthier. Fields will start playing better. We'll start seeing more out of this offense. And if this defense can keep it up or even improve, which is a distinct possibility, also that running game is great. The Bears are very quietly. I know there's some people in Beardom that are a little cautious. 2-1. It was kind of an ugly start in terms of performance on the field. But this is how Chicago kind of wins, right? This is at their best. They're defensive special teams. That's how they win games. That's how they've been successful, in recent years. So I think they're following the trend. Fields will get better. And right now, things are looking, cautiously optimistic for the Bears. And they've got a stretch of winnable games coming up, like you said.